Hey everyone, welcome to Curveball. I'm Heather Campbell, and with me today is Nona Prather, not an NPR host, but you have the name of one. But you would never guess it now, but this is a woman. Nona is a woman who books speakers, leads workshops, and teaches others how to own the stage. She used to work strictly behind the scenes. People even called her painfully shy. Okay. But that was before life threw a full-on curveball. In March of 2020, remember that? The pandy was in town. Nona and her husband both lost their jobs. Within months, they sold everything, pulled their daughter out of school, moved into an RV, and hit the road, building a business from scratch while traveling the country. I cannot wait to talk to you about this. Today, Nona runs a successful speaker booking agency, lives on a beautiful New Mexico property, and get this, she now speaks on stage herself, this little painfully shy human being. She credits the leap, the sacrifice, and the setbacks with teaching her just how strong and capable she really is. Nona, welcome to Curveball.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Oh my gosh. So let's go back to 2020, March of 2020. The pandemic is super fresh.
Oh boy.
You and your husband were like, okay, let's do the most radical thing we could maybe possibly do. I know people who did that, but they did not have children. So how old was your daughter at the time?
Yeah, so she's 12 and a half now. So that was 5 years. She was 7. Yeah. And at first she thought, oh, this is going to be so fun. I don't have to go back to school.
The joke's on you.
Yeah, I get to move into an RV and travel around, which we loved it. It was super fun. Like, she can still name basically like all of the landmarks in Yellowstone because we spent like a month there. So she loved, cool. She did good on that part, but like not like taking her out of school and making sure that she still got that education and things like, and then,
and then friends too, like peers and stuff too. Like, cause then she's like, Mom, Dad, I love you. But like,
honestly, old. She grew as a person. So because
I love that.
Well, I mean, we both were painfully shy. And so she was also just like me. And then once you get into situations like this with life, you just figure out how to do it. So we would go to different campgrounds and she would find someone because she actually still has a couple of pen pals and things that they like text back and forth that she met while we were on our travels. Other full-time families as well during that time, because we weren't the only people who had that idea. There was quite a few people who had that idea. Run into kids. And so honestly, it grew her out of her comfort zone in a really good way. So like now she's not afraid to talk to people where she was before. Yes. So it worked out. It works out. I always say the pandemic was crazy. 2020 was up and down, was scary. We didn't know what was happening with life, all of that. But I'll say 5 years later, the silver lining is so much better for us. Because we got out of the rat race of working all the time. We really focused on what was important to us and our family. And I built the business, wrote the book. Like we came out the other end better than when we went in the pandemic. Like I can honestly say all three of us, me, my husband, and my daughter, are all happy now. And I couldn't have said that before 2020.
Oh my gosh, amazing. So then what kind of business did you like? Because I have a lot of entrepreneurial friends and I have a few that are married and they're in business together. And it is a delicate balance, you know. So you decide to do this in the height of just the energetic environment of a global pandemic. We're now in I don't even know how many square feet is an RV, like 100?
Yeah, like 300 square feet.
Oh my God, okay. So now we're like in a 300 square feet.
Yeah.
We're like, we do not have, like we have a toilet we have to maintain. Like, it's not like, and so then you're like, let's do this. Let's do one of the hardest things it is for a couple to do, which is not have children. It is to go into business together. Let's do it amidst a global pandemic in a 300 square foot RV.
Yeah.
When we're also like, so you crazy. I'm just like, wait, what's going on? Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. So what business did you guys start?
Yeah, I will definitely say it wasn't always perfect, and there was ups and downs, fights, and yeah. And whenever me and my husband work together, well, which he only does part time, and I'm full time in the business, so
Okay.
he's our CFO. So I do have to ask him, like, "Hey, I want to go to this conference, and here's how much it'll cost, and all of that." And so every once in a while, I
Right.
get little tips about that because he'll be like,
Yes.
How many clients are you going to get from this event?" All that CFO
Right.
questions.
Those are good. When I ran a marketing function at a huge company for like a hot minute, we reported to the CFO, and I'm like, this is terrible because
You know, right?
he
He's
kept
like,
on
they
saying,
always
why do
say
you have to spend any money on advertising? Like, I don't understand. And I'm just like, oh my God, just don't ask questions. I
yes.
promise. We're not reckless. Like, we're really good.
As soon as I say, like, I'm going to National Speakers Association next week, and I'm like, I'm probably going to walk away with like a handful of clients.
Oh, sure.
Possibly going to sell like a couple of my online workbooks. Like, I'm probably going to make money while I'm there, is the thing.
Right.
But yeah, so my dad is a professional speaker. And so he started his business in the 90s. And so I remember
What does he speak on?
Yeah, he's a safety professional. So he like does OSHA training. He comes in and does government and health safety conferences. Like he's a keynoter. He's written 12 books, but his first book that he wrote is Who is Responsible for Safety? And that's still his most popular topic. Like people still ask him to come in for that reason. So yeah,
That's
he's still a
amazing.
very successful speaker. And even though he said he retired in 2020, but my dad's never going to retire.
I think that, yeah,
He's one
I
of
can
those
just tell.
people that
So
quit.
who is responsible for safety?
Yeah.
Ourselves. Are we? Like, what's the answer? Or do we have to go see an OSHA? We have to somehow crash an OSHA conference.
Exactly. So he says his slogan for his business at Safety Institute is eliminating. It's something like, okay, I'm going to butcher it because I haven't had to say it in like 5 years.
Because you're not an OSHA expert.
Because I'm not an OSHA expert,
Yeah.
and I haven't done his outreach marketing. I still get phone calls, but I used to do his outreach marketing until
Oh, you did? Oh my gosh.
And so like his whole thing is zero. Like his goal is to have zero injuries so that everyone goes home safe at the end of the day. So that's what his mantra has been since 1992. And he has several books written on the subject. And so he really became that expert. And he's not like one of those motivational keynote speakers that people bring in just to entertain the audience. Right. But he's very specific and niche about what he does, OSHA training and all of that stuff, very specific. So now that's what Speaker Elevation, we help those specific niche.
I say niche, but people say niche. I don't know the right. Yeah. I just don't know the right way.
Yeah, so we help them find those opportunities to speak in.
Oh, that's super interesting.
Calls, lead generation, following up with them, filling out the call for speaker form, getting on the phone and negotiating the agreement and all of that. So we're really
amazing
helping to manage these speakers and their leads.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, I have a couple of active keynote speakers in my signature program, so I should connect them with you because one, she is crushing it. Like she is an amazing story that's just like has so many twists and turns, but like one that's like about rising with resilience. Like it's just one of those ones that you just know. I'm gonna actually hear her give her keynote tomorrow. I'm really excited. But she's already booking $15,000 gigs.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a good
key. That's amazing. Yeah, I was just like, go, girl, amazing. Okay, so you said the sacrifice of selling everything and moving into the RV, or like it was totally worth it. But you also said like, well, that it maybe didn't always feel that way, like in the middle of it. So what was the hardest part of the transition for you personally?
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of stress because when you're first building a business, I mean, there's a lot of stress that goes into it, a lot of questions and things like that. And then plus we went from 2,100 square feet and we also have 2 dogs. So we have my husband.
I hope they're little.
No.
No, of course not. She's like, no, they're like 2 Great Danes.
Oh no, they're Aussie Doodles, like 80, 90-pound standard Aussie Doodles. So yeah, not the smallest, not the best RV pets, but we made it work.
But at least they don't shed. We got that going for us.
So that was good. Yeah, Doodles don't shed, which is the reason why we have Doodles versus like a pug or something.
Same. I have a pug and Oh my gosh, why can't I? It's a little, oh my God, why can't I
Oh, that's
remember?
funny. I didn't even know you had a pug. We had one for 10 years and then
Oh,
break.
once you have a pug, they're hard to like not get.
They're so cute.
I've had 2. I have a brindle pug.
Oh my gosh.
She's nearly toothless. She just has 1 tooth left. And I'm like, that tooth is just hanging on. I'm like, we're just like taking bets,
yeah.
like the odds. It's like bigger than the final 4.
That's funny. Yeah, our pug was the best, but he shed.
Yeah.
So
After
that, my husband said, yeah, we're not doing shedding.
Yes,
now we have a cat that sheds like crazy.
Yeah.
But we inherited him. We didn't take him out. He was a stray that decided, you're my
You mean
people.
That tiger that's walking across your desk?
Yes, exactly.
He's so huge.
He's so funny. I say he could be part lynx. We don't know.
He looks like it. Yeah, so like, how did you transition from space to like literally being on top of each other? And then like you're traveling. So you're going from place to place. You have to learn like how to hook up your RV. I mean, there's probably an RV learning curve that a lot of people probably don't really think about.
There was our first year in the RV, we definitely learned the importance of having good skirting so that like because we're weird, like a lot of people will follow the sun so they don't have to deal with like freezing pipes and stuff like that. Right. We're a little bit odd. We actually are not beach people. We're mountain people. We like to snow ski and stuff like that. So whenever we would travel to places, I mean, we would go to the mountains. So we spent a lot of time in like California, like I said, Yellowstone, going to different national parks up north. So we were a little bit different than other people who followed the sun during the time. So yeah, but there was a lot of learning curves about RV and I said,
what's the most surprising? Like, what was something that you just thought, oh my God, when I decided to do this, I never thought I would be doing this?
Oh yeah, like not being able to you really appreciate things a lot more because I mean, we had a small tank. So like we would have 5 to 7 minutes of hot water. So you can't take like a 20-minute shower to relax. So you have to so we would go to places and sometimes if we wanted like a longer shower, we would go to a place that actually had showers, like an RV resort that had a separate one. And sometimes we would use those. But then every time, like if I would go to a conference to a hotel room, it was like the luxury of just having unlimited hot water was just the best versus being in the RV where you're like doing the military shower. And then,
oh my God.
It's amazing how people are used to things like this.
Yeah. It's like I relate to that so much. I grew up in a house that was built in the early 1900s. I have 8 brothers and sisters, and we just had the worst water situation. So the first thing I did, so you had to time out your showers.
Yes.
So you could have you had your bathroom time and then you had to let everything reset. And there was so God forbid someone decided to they didn't know you needed to shower and they did a load of laundry. Yes. Because then that would just throw the whole thing into just a chaos. And so the first thing I did when I got my own home is I got a tankless water heater. And I was this is
about that too. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I found out too, I know you live in New Mexico. I live in Colorado. I just heard this, that you can get a tankless solar powered water heater.
Oh yeah. And they will pay for it.
And I was like, that's amazing. Yeah. I have solar on my roof and I was like, that would be amazing. I'm in a market where I could definitely do that. Yeah. So you grew up being called painfully shy. Okay. People find it shocking. I was too. And I think I was almost conditioned by my parents to be an extrovert, which is why I'm not a smooth extrovert. I can sometimes be a little, I don't know, sometimes my boundaries, but now you speak on stages and you run on workshops. What helped you transform your relationship with visibility and confidence? Or shyness? Is shyness connected? When I was thinking about writing that question, I was like, but is shyness non-visibility, non-confidence? Not always. It's just, how do you describe shyness?
I was going to say shyness probably comes from a lot of self-esteem issues because I feel like growing up, I didn't I have a twin brother and he's very boisterous, life of the party. And then my dad being a professional speaker, he's the same way. My stepmom she has her doctorate and she was a college professor. So she was used to all that. And I don't know, I just was like the black sheep of the family who wasn't loud, but I think it's because I had so many loud people around me that I
Right.
just naturally shied away from it. So like my dad's friends, whenever I'd go somewhere and I would just stand next to my dad and just listen, and they'd be like, "Oh, quit talking, Nona, you're talking so much." Ha. And
Right.
it would make me more self-conscious than it would like they were trying to joke with me. But I actually hated when people did that because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's having like the opposite effect that you probably think it is. But
Right.
honestly, I told someone the other day I was having a 40th birthday party for my friend and we were all sitting around and everyone was saying, like my friend who just turned 40, she goes, I don't really feel like I feel like myself confident in my self confidence until I was like 30. And I
Right.
said, girl, I'm pretty sure I was like 35. Like, I'm pretty sure like 5 years ago when the pandemic happened and I had my back up against the wall because me and my husband both lost our jobs. We didn't know when our next
Right.
paycheck was coming. We decided that's why we sold everything, decided to go debt free so we didn't have to worry. But I was still nervous about life and going out on my own. And people had told me I had potential to like run my own business, but I never really believed them until I found myself up against the wall where I didn't have any other
Right.
choice. And then,
Right.
yeah, and then my friend Henry asked me to speak for the first time. And at first I said no. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm just going to start saying yes to opportunities and see what happens. And once I changed my mindset of, you know what, I know you can do it. I mean, think about the millions of people who speak, who get up and speak. Like,
Right.
obviously, they can do it. You can do it. Anybody can do it. And I just had to tell myself, you know what, you have nothing to lose. And then once
Right.
I started doing it, it got easier and easier each time I did it. And
The
so
first time you
now,
did it, what did it feel like
I was
before, during, and
terrified.
after?
Oh my gosh, it was actually a disaster. There was like 50 people
Oh,
in
so it's
this
not even
room.
like the movie, like she's doing it, Nona's doing it. It turns out to be amazing. It was
Well,
just
they said
like,
it was okay. Like he said it was
oh,
okay, but I was so nervous. It was pretty obvious that I was nervous.
right.
And I had a piece of paper with my notes, and I guess I kept looking at my notes a lot because I was just so nervous. I kept having, even though I knew exactly what I was saying and I had practiced it like 1,000 times in the mirror,
Sure.
I still kept looking at my notes subconsciously. And now
Right.
I don't use slides whenever I speak, and I don't use any notes when I speak because I have my stories set in my mind. And that's also another thing is like the same way I always say I was a bad test taker in school. But
Mm,
honestly, if I had practiced and if I had studied enough, I wasn't a bad test taker. So it was like, oh,
right.
I just need to practice and hone in on it. And now that I have my 5 stories that relate to what I'm doing, so there's
Right.
points to the stories, and then each story is like a new one. And I know that like 5 stories equals 30 minutes. So it's like now
Hmm.
that I have that practice in my head and I have it down, now it's not a big deal. But man, in the
Right.
beginning, oof, my voice shook, my hands were shaking. I was terrified. I was like not looking at the audience. Yeah, the first time I did a podcast, I was terrified as well. And now I love them and do them all the
Yeah.
time.
Well, you said something so interesting. Like you said, if you say like, I just remember in yoga, there's this one position where you ultimately grab your foot and you kick out and then you touch your nose to your knee and you're standing on one leg. And I remember thinking, I'll never be able to do that. So I never tried.
Yeah,
And I just remember having this epiphany in class saying, well, if you don't even try, you're for sure never going to do it. Like you might never do it, but that doesn't mean like you absolutely positively will never be able to do it if you never even try to do it. I still
oh
can't
yeah.
do it. But you
Yep.
said something like, oh, I'm not like this. Like I can't run my own business. Like I can't. And
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because that's just a story we're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
And
I
you
was the
sort of
only
just made me think like, I'm just going to flip that story. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. During the pandemic, it was like, well, I mean, we were in this small space together. Me and my husband were fighting quite a bit in the first year that we were in the Army.
right.
We're learning how to live with each other again, number one, because we had both been working a lot. And then honestly,
Right.
I found myself up against the wall and it was like, you might as well just do it. Because what's
Right.
going to happen if you fall on your face? What does it matter? You're
Right.
already like at your worst point in life at the moment with no job, not sure where you're going to
Yes.
live. not knowing what you're going to do. So you might as well just jump in and start your own business. See what happens. And now it's worked out. But man, it was hard at the beginning.
I love that. Well, I love that perspective too. I met with a friend yesterday who actually was on curveball because her husband had a stroke and then they found out he had kidney cancer. I'm not breaking HIPAA. We talked about all this in our podcast episode, just FYI. But like, she was like, people are always like, how do you do it all? And I think part of it is when you really do not know, like when there's like she's in certain uncertainty. When you decided to sell everything, go into an RV, you signed up for certain uncertainty.
Oh yeah.
Even where there's certainty, like even when you mastered the RV, you're still going to different locations. Like you just don't know. Like, I mean, and so I think when you're in that certain uncertainty, because you don't know what's going to happen, you just take things as they come, which is a really amazing way to live because you don't know, like, you don't know what to be afraid. Like you can't spend time being afraid because there's nothing imminently scary. Like, so you can't, and you don't know what's ahead. So it's like, you don't know what to be afraid of. So you're just not going to be afraid. And that's the thing. Like I work with people with marketing and they're just like, oh my God, I don't have enough time to do good marketing. And I'm like, that's really a ridiculous thought only because time is the only thing that's equal.
Exactly.
Like,
yes.
We all have the same amount of time. Yes. So you can definitely figure it out. But I always find that like, oh, what's going to be that sideline or like language? And it's because people know a lot about the process of marketing and they have this. And so then that's where there's like, I don't have time. But if you're just like, look, I'm going to plop you in the middle of New York City and you got to find your way to get to Rhode Island, for instance.
Obviously you're going to
They will fucking figure out how to do that. And they will have no issue having that. But the thing is, if I'm just like, oh, you need to write belief shifting content. They're like, no, I can't do it. I don't have time. So I think I had this really big epiphany meeting with my friend yesterday, how uncertainty can really be beneficial, even though it's uncomfortable. It does really keep you just focused on one thing at a time, which is the best way, I think, to tackle things.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how we were. It was like, we just learned on the fly and there was a lot of adjustments that were made in the RV, building the business, our relationship. Oh man, it was just so many curveballs that came at us. But like I said, now that we went through those curveballs, we're stronger now than we were.
Yeah. Don't you feel like you can do anything?
Oh yeah. I feel so much more self-confident now than I did 5 years ago. Like, I don't even feel like I'm the same person, honestly. Like really, I'm 40 now. I really think I kind of figured out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be like 5 years ago when I didn't have any other options. Like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I think I can do it. And I just did it because I didn't have any other option.
Right. I love that. Well, and then your decade of the 40s is like, 30s is pretty good, but 40s is like, because you still look fantastic. One. And then you are really just like, I just remembered when I turned 40, I was like, oh my God, I seriously, like all I could think about is all the drama in my 20s and 30s, like just how I was. And then when I turned and then when I turned 50, I was just like, I seriously do not give two shits what people think. Like you seriously like just move into like the number of shits you give, just lessons and lessons and lessons.
And that's so good. I think.
And that's like the best part.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I absolutely. Yeah. So far 40 is amazing. So glad that the fucks I had to give ran out because
yes,
so much better now being just myself. And my daughter sometimes will be like, I don't know. I was walking down the street, taking my dog on a walk and I had the music on and I was singing at the top of my lungs. People were driving by in their cars and my daughter's behind me going, oh my God, you're so embarrassing. And I'm like, I'm at that age where I don't give a crap. This is who I am.
Yes. You're loving life and you're bringing people joy too by showing them.
And most people smile and think it's funny or be like, oh, hey, like I get positive reviews from my vibe and my personality, where before people would say, oh, you just seem like unsure of yourself or you have potential. I got that a lot. You have a lot of potential. And now it's like people don't say I have potential because I feel like I'm doing it now.
Right. My dad used to live in Naples, Florida. And on the beach, there was this woman who was obviously at some point in her life a dancer. She was still like very athletic. She must have been like in her 80s. And she would wear these huge headphones and literally dance on the beach. And when I was like in high school, I was just like, oh my God, that woman is crazy. And then as I got older, I'm like,
and now you're like,
woman is my idol. Like,
yes,
I'm just like, I get it completely 100%. Yes. And I felt bad. Like I even had that moment, like when you're 15 and you're just like, oh my God,
that's what I always tell. I tell my daughter, you know what? You're 12. You're going to look back and say, I had such a fun mom. You're going to look back and be like, my mom was awesome. She would play with me. She would jump on the trampoline with me. She would sing with me.
Yes.
She would with me. Like, she's going to remember, even though she's embarrassed by me now.
Oh,
she's going to love it later in life. Because
I'm very friendly to people. So my daughter after college moved to Chicago, and like I live in Denver now, where people are very friendly. So if you're like walking down the street and it's just you and one person is walking, I'm going to say hello to that person. And I just remember thinking, my daughter was just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you're saying hello to that person. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I said, I just can't not be friendly. Like, I'm sorry. That is just like how I'm wired. And now she says hi to people. And I'm like, it is so much more fun when you engage with people because you just meet people.
I know. I love it. I like meeting people. That's why everyone says, do you have time for like a discovery call? And I'm like, I'll talk to any and everyone because you're
like, yes, I do. Absolutely.
Everyone has a story. You never know. Someone may know someone that you need or you just meet new people. It's just nice to meet new people and just increase your reach.
Yes, totally. Well, you talked a couple of times about like increasing your reach or even working with the speakers you work with, helping them manage their leads, helping them manage all the mechanics of what is it about like the speaking industry that you're like, wow, people underestimate how powerful this is, or how does this? Because I work with a lot of people and they're like, I want to become a keynote speaker, including me. Like sometimes I think I should too. Like I had a really amazing, my brain broke last year. So I was like, oh my God, the TED Talk gods gave me a health issue that actually transformed my life. I'm like, wow, I have a topic now, but like, tell me about just speaking in general and what are some things that people just maybe don't know about it or should know about it, or how can it help people in their business? I'm assuming you work with a lot of entrepreneurs too.
I do. Yes. So my perfect fit client is not exactly like the motivational keynote speaker who wants to be the star of the show. But just like my dad, he was a very niche speaker with a particular audience, which was usually like manufacturing plants or electric companies and energy companies. Like that was his expertise. Mm-hmm. So that's really what I teach now is the riches are in the niches, because you want to become that target expert for that person.
Well, we like to say the riches are in the niches, bitches.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Niches, bitches. Exactly. Like so many people, whenever I have a call and tell me about yourself, and they're like, oh, what's good about me is I can speak to any and everyone. And I'm like,
oh, no,
negative. Yes. That's actually a negative because
and that's not true.
And it's not true. Like I can't speak to doctors about dementia, but my client, Dr. Pam, can. Like everyone has expertise. So and reach into your expertise. And that's where you will find your biggest fans, people who you become their expert because they need an expert in their industry. And so you want to be that they can rely on time and time again, which is why my dad is so popular, because he's so many companies. Like we have a lot of companies that he became really good friends with, like their CEOs, because he became their go-to expert that they would bring in.
Sure.
If they needed a continuing education, or if something happened on the job where they needed a safety trainer come in, like he would become he's their expert. And he's even done a couple of like court things, like come in as a witness, as a safety expert.
I was going to say, he sounds like an expert witness to me.
Yeah. So he's even done expert witness, and he gets paid for those things as well. So and the name of my book is 24 Ways to Get Paid to Speak. Because for me, it's not just the keynoter. People always think of the keynoter, but there are so many other things you can do. Like you can make your own small scale seminars. You can make your own certifications. You can become a continuing education trainer. Mm-hmm. There are so many different ways to speak to grow your business. And so whenever we work with people, it's like we find places for them to speak, like associations, SHRM. where decision makers gather. And so if they see you up on stage or in a breakout and they really like you, obviously they're going to come up and ask you what else you can do, you can come into the company. So it's like speaking in the right places with the right audience, with target spinoff work as well, so that you can grow your business in front of a large audience at the same time. Because the goal is always you have like people come up who want to get your card and have a call with you. And then that's just a natural business growing method. So we're
I love presenting. And then when you have people like lining up to talk to you, you're just like, oh, it's so fun. Yeah. That you just like spark something, or you just invigorated them around something. And it's like, that is so cool. And I'm thinking about like, I used to present a lot when I worked corporately at conferences and things like that too. And I think like, it's not as easy to get into conferences now that I have now that I'm a supplier. But, so like so if someone's thinking about like, oh, I really could speak to anyone. And you're like, how is like, what's one small thing someone could take to start to really understand what is my rich niche?
Yeah. So what I always say is think about what your topic is and what you want to talk about, and then write down 3 to 5 sentences of actionable learning objectives for the audience and build your talk around there. Because the number one thing that decision makers want to know is what are some actionable steps, tips, tricks, techniques that my audience members can take back with them. I mean, people love stories, but also they need actionable things, because you're into an industry that has some sort of problem, and you come in, identify their problem, and then you help them solve it by those audience takeaways. So I always say, you're like, I'm not sure where I want to target myself. Like I talked to this lady yesterday. She's like, I have 12 different talks. Like, which one should I market? And it's like, okay, well, take your audience learning objectives, 3 to 5 sentences of like tips, tricks, techniques, not just like you get a sense of feeling of ownership in the company, but like tips to actually, or steps to actually do that. And then build your talk around that, because that's what's going to sell, is what issue are you solving by bringing you in for their audience members. So, and that's the number one thing. So I always say, start with those 3 to 5 sentences and then build it off of there.
Oh, I love that. That is such a good idea too. Just because, well, in marketing too, it's like people think like, oh, if I cast a wide net, and I'm like, I don't like a wide net is expensive. Yes. It takes longer. I like to go fishing in the baby pool is what I like to say.
Oh yes. That's a good analogy.
Well, because like I work with like, I don't like personally like DIY programs or like fast big launches, like, because it's just not fun. Like it's not, and I don't really like that kind of marketing or being marketed to like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like people, like half the people won't even do the work. Like they won't even ever even log into the portal. And I'm like, like, I want to have results with people. Like, I know people are like, oh, you can't worry about that. And I'm like, it's not satisfying for me. So how am I supposed to be behind an offer if it's not satisfying for me personally, and think, oh, it's going to do well in the market. So I really love that idea of really, and it's not like if you pick one niche, it's going to be niche for life. Like you can have like I'm a branding and business. Like I have so many things going on, and I was in this mastermind and I'm like, okay, get ready, because I have a lot of things: an agency, a program, a political movement, a journal for ADHD, this podcast.
Yeah.
I know that there are 2 things like I'm not even thinking about right now. And they're like, oh no, all of that like tracks, like all of that. They're like, we can see that, like meeting you and talking to you and you talking through it, like nothing feels weird out of that. And so those are like 7 different things I can focus on. And I'm not just stuck in one lane, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I always say, as long as your niche still serves the same audience that your goal is to, you can always change up your talk, you can change up your workbook, but you really need to hone in on the audience that you fit best, that you can serve best.
Right.
Because people end up chasing topics. Like when AI came out, everyone came out as an AI speaker. But the thing is, your audience should stay the same, even if you're introducing something new. As long as your audience stays the same, you're good. Because like I speak about how to get paid to speak, but I also have an online workbook for people who are just starting out so they can get their assets together. We also do websites, we do one sheets, media kits. Like there's so many things like that I do. But really my main dish, my business consultant, Mark LeBlanc, always says, when you go to a steakhouse, you're going there for their signature dish, the steak.
Right.
And so it's like you can have a salad, you can have bread, you can have, all that, but the steak is your main thing. So you need to really stick clear with your main dish.
Right. Yes. I'm going to get the creamed corn.
Yeah.
I used to have to go like for these expensive business dinners, and I do not have a big appetite. You would have to order like this $50 steak.
Oh gosh.
I'd be like, oh my God, I'm only going to have like 5 bites of it. And then like, I was like, I'll just have the creamed corn side dish. Like I will be happy as a clam. So for someone listening who feels stuck or scared to reinvent themselves, like I know you had an extenuating circumstance, unemployment, the pandemic, like it was such a weird time, but you probably have perspective, like now that things have scarily gone back to normal. But like if someone's stuck or scared and they want to reinvent themselves, like they're feeling inspired by you, especially mid-career or midlife, what's one belief or mindset shift you really think that they would be helpful for them to hear?
Well, let's just say people always say this too. I wish I would have done it sooner. Like, I don't know why I waited so long to go out on my own. Like I knew I could have done it probably 3 or 4 years sooner, but I didn't take the leap because I was scared. And I was also in a rut. Like I was busy with my daughter's school activities. And then my husband, I was off on weekends, but my husband was off 2 days in the week. So we didn't really see each other as much as we wanted to. I mean, we were like stuck in this rut, and I don't even know if I really understood how much of a rut I was in until things came to light, when things stopped, had to take a step back. But I had always thought about doing my own thing and I just never made the leap. And then I wish I had done it sooner, but it all worked out.
You know what? It all happens like when you're ready. Like I started my business because like, to be honest, I got fired from my job, and the company that fired me hired me as a full-time consultant.
Yeah.
Someone's like, how does that even happen? And I'm like, well, because I was good at the work. I was not good at the relationship. So without that like twist of fate, I would have never, but that's when I really realized like, oh, I found my voice as a consultant, because like you have so much more authority. Even like I was a vice president. So you would think I have leadership. No. You're coming as a consultant. You're like, you guys need to start serving marshmallows for lunch. They're going to be like, get the marshmallows immediately. Like you could say like, everyone has to balance on one leg for 3 minutes, and that's going to improve morale. And they'll be like, okay, I'm going to do that. It's just like, it's so interesting. And so that's where I really found, and here I am 11 years later, but it was that same thing. Like I had no idea what I was doing. And then just getting everything into place. The first year, tell me if this is what you felt like. So the first year, like you're literally just trying to figure it out. How do I invoice? How do I do proposals?
Yes.
Like, how do I do, what's my website? Like you're just doing like, trying to figure it all out. Yeah. And the second year, I remember thinking like, oh yeah, like I only have to do the things I love doing. Like I don't have to do anything I don't like to do. That was like a huge, like, oh my God, I felt so excited. And then it was my third year when I really realized who are the people I want to invite in. I can be choosy. I can say no to people. And I remember like the first time I said no to working with someone, like that's like a hugely empowering place to get to your business.
I remember that day. I remember the person's name.
Oh, tell me. Yeah. Oh, don't tell me their name, but like.
No, I'm not going to tell you their name, but I'll tell you the reaction was really bad.
Really?
So I got threats, but I mean, I saw red flags. And because, in the beginning, whenever you're starting, you take whatever you can get.
Yes.
So there was a lot of people I onboarded that I hated working with.
And that's such a bummer too. Like,
but also that was such a good learning tool. Like that, because like you're right about the 3-year mark. I was like, you know what? I got into my own business so I don't have to deal with these wrong fit clients, and I only want to work with right fit clients. And then ever since I decided that, and I've turned down a couple people, and I try to turn them down as easily as possible, but some people with the their egos get bruised. But it's been fine. Like the first person that I turned down, yeah, he was really mad, but all the others were actually easy after that.
Yeah. So. Like I remember this one, I just remember this one time. It was rough. And it was the only time I ever really felt patronized as a woman, like pitching business to these two real estate dudes. And they kept on wanting me to like give RFPs from like their competitors to them. And I'm like, that is so wildly unethical. Like I would never do that. They're like, just take their name off of it. And I'm just like, I don't think that we're getting along anyways, blah, blah, blah. It's like really, but what I just say is, and it's just so interesting because I was nervous to say no the first time. And then I just said, you know what? I just don't think that this is going to work for me.
Yeah.
And for some reason, because I've also fired 2 clients and I was like, this is not working for me anymore. And they were like, okay, like it was so I'm just saying, like, if you ever need a tip on how to, that feels like it's a complete sentence. Like I don't need to describe. Yeah. I don't get into like, it's not you, it's me. Cause it's a you. It's like, also, I can just tell. Yeah. Like it's not going to be fun for me.
I also learned to be blunt because I don't know. I grew up in this way where it was like when you're telling someone bad news, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is happening. I have this thing. I've got to tell you. And you're wishy-washy about it. But if you're like, hey, this isn't going to work for me. I'm sorry. I'm moving on. I wish you the best. Like just be very blunt about it and don't be like, well, I wish we could work together, but I just don't see how, because when you do that, it leaves them open to be like, well, we could if
right.
So it doesn't come across clear. So if you just try to be as blunt and as clear, which my husband told me I was a little too blunt a couple times, but as like, I didn't want people coming back and being like, oh, hey, let's do this. And I'll be like, no, this isn't up for discussion. Like it's literally like that.
Yeah. It's like,
that guy told me, he goes, nobody's ever going to believe a woman in an RV is successful at selling speakers. That's what he told me. And obviously, it fueled my fire, so it's fine.
Yes, totally.
I was like, well, freaking watch me. So
I had my very first year at Ohio State. I was a journalism major and I was a hot to trot. Like I wrote for the school paper. I thought journalism, like if you wanted to write, that was like the profession. And I remember I had a new professor from the Atlantic. I went to school at Ohio State, but he came from a newspaper. So it was his first year teaching. And he, in front of the entire room, in front of all of my fellow students, was like, you're the worst writer. You're never going to make it as a journalist. Like, I mean, I remember just sitting there, I was 18 and you're just like, this is my dream. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to flunk journalism. So I dropped the class. Like they had this thing called freshman forgiveness. But it turns out like I'm actually a really good writer and I'm a professional communicator and a professional copywriter. And so many times I've thought about finding that guy. Yes. Like, because when someone like that, like probably has really ruined some people's lives because, and if I just had a different mindset, like because then I was like, I had enough belief in myself to drop the class and then I took it again with like a 25-year, like he was amazing. Like, of course, like I crushed it because I had the right teacher. And so that's where I was. So even then, like I knew like, okay, there are going to be different teachers. Like you're going to have different guides and that kind of stuff. But it's just like the power that people have, to say like, you're bad at this. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like,
and unfortunately, when I was younger, before I was like, screw you, whatever, before I decided to and realize some people just don't appreciate me. But you get compliments and I'd be like embarrassed by compliments. And then one person would say something negative and that would stick with me for years.
Yes.
But the compliments only lasted like a few seconds. Like,
right. Yeah.
Of course I get way more compliments than I do negative comments. So like, why am I focusing on the one negative comment when I have like tons of other positive comments?
Right. And like I had a student in one of my programs once and she gave me a compliment. Like she was like, I really love what you did for me. So I just said, well, she gave me really good input. Like I said, I had a lot of really good stuff to start with. And she's like, if you don't receive a compliment, she's like, we're not like closing that loop. She's like, you leave it open. And she's like, and so accept the compliment. And I was just like, thank you. Like it was like hard to not want to deflect because I really did feel that way. Like I do feel it's a collaboration and a partnership, but she's like, I could have never done this on my own, and it is so, oh God, the same. Like I can think about things. Oh my God, that like, I'm just thinking about this guy, like some guy said to me about losing weight when I was a freshman in college.
Yeah. Oh, I still remember things from like early years. Like I was 22 and this guy said something really rude to me while I was working at a Walgreens. And I'm like, why do I still think about that every once in a while?
Right.
Why does that still pop up in my head sometimes?
Oh, like, I can't believe someone was mean to you at the Walgreens.
Oh God, that was, well, now I realize reflecting now, people who come into Walgreens, like they're probably sick. They probably don't feel well. And so they take it out on people that they shouldn't. And so I got the brunt, but also it made my skin thicker by working there for 6 years because.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That was retail. I always say, if you need your skin thickened up, if you are one of those people who you're go work at retail, go work retail. Oh my Lord. Retail, because people treat retail workers like they're scum of the earth. I swear, it's terrible.
God, that's awful. I know when people, I was a waitress for many years, and I know that there were some people who were just, I just thought, wow, they just do not know how to eat out or how to communicate with another human being. Like sometimes you're just like, oh my gosh.
Simple etiquette.
Well, that people are just so on the edge too. It's like, I get what you're saying about Walgreens, because Walgreens to me, like every time I'm there for a prescription, I'm usually sick. And then it just has this like, there's a very distinct Walgreens smell. And I don't know if it's a scent program or what, why?
And the lights too.
Oh yeah, the lights, like
fluorescent lights.
Yes.
Nobody happy.
And you think, okay, I'll get some makeup. And you're like, no, I won't. Like, I will not.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Anyway, people should definitely work retail, particularly like healthcare retail. Oh yeah.
Oh goodness gracious.
Really thick skin because people don't feel well.
Gosh.
And they snap at people not realizing. And then you got to realize this has nothing to do with me.
I know, but that is hard when you get it a lot. And I think you're very nice and being very empathetic about people like being crappy when they're feeling crappy. But
when I was in my 20s, I didn't take it as good. But now looking back,
you're just like, oh gosh.
It had everything to do with their situation. It had nothing to do with me. And just because I was 22 right out of college, I just took it too personal. And they don't even remember.
That's like that book, The Four Agreements. That's like my favorite agreement. Like I was so resistant to reading that book. I'm like, and then because 1,000 people recommended it to me and I'm like, I'm never reading it. And then I'm like literally at a bookstore. It's like one of those things that like literally like fell off a shelf into my hands. And I'm just like, I'll read it. And it was amazing. And I love that. Like do your best work. Don't take anything personally.
I was going to say, there's another book.
Speak with integrity. Yeah. What's that?
This is You Had Me at No, and it's how setting healthy boundaries helps banish burnout, repair relationships, and save your sanity. Cheryl Green, she'd probably be a good one for this podcast because she's the boundary lady, and her book is so good. And honestly,
oh my gosh, I'm going to read that. That sounds amazing.
And then there's Boundaries by, I think it's Henry McLeod, which is a good book too, but hers is also a really good boundary book, especially because she's a woman. She has a little bit different perspective.
Yes. Well, I really love that too, just because boundaries are like, I just had a different understanding of boundaries. Like I've really made it my mission to like move in alignment, like keep things like low and slow. I had a big health thing last year and I'm like, I don't want to go back to like business as usual and then just be like, oh my God, remember that crazy thing in 2024? Like when your brain broke. And so it's like, I want to keep things low and slow, and boundaries are really how you do it. And the things are not as like, I used to have to create a lot of boundaries to protect. Like I felt like I was protecting myself.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I feel like I'm still, I guess, protecting, but it's not as like rigid. Like the boundary is just like, my boundary is just like, I hate chestnuts like so much. And there's no way you could get me to eat a chestnut. Like unless you were like, I'm going to pay you like $1 million. And they'd be like, okay, I'll eat this
Even
chestnut.
if it's covered in like caramel and
no. Oh, no. And don't try to trick me, Nona Prather, into eating a chestnut. But like, you couldn't really get me, like, it would have to be like a big deal for me to eat that. And that's how I feel about boundaries. It's just, there's a way I do things now, and that's just how I do things. And I have a boundary, and it's not like this, like rigid, like, oh my God, like I'm building this fortress. I guess I don't feel like I'm building this fortress around me. It feels like I'm like smoothing out like a rough road. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it's more like directionals, I guess, like not as much.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, like in a pinball machine, like the little levers, like that's what it's like. Yeah.
I like about her book, it's not all about like setting boundaries and cutting people out of your life.
Yes.
But how to still work with people in your life. Like I set up some boundaries with my parents, and I just set it clear and straight, and we get along better now, because before it was like they felt like they had to give me all of their advice, and I was like, we can be friends now. You don't have to be my parent. We can be friends now. We're all adults here. I'm a seasoned adult now. Like you don't still have to parent me. So let's just be friends. And it's like the last couple of years, our relationship has gotten better because I set boundaries of, I don't need a parent anymore. And so now we get a lot better than we did. So it's like, and I didn't want to cut them, because a lot of times people think of boundaries as cutting people out of your life.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like it's like this hard,
like a hard
stone. Yeah. Like it's like you're doing something and it's not. Yes, I do have some boundaries like that, of course, but most of my boundaries are more like, that's just not how I do things. And then I tell people, I'm like, this is how I do things. And then they'll say, well, and I'm like, no, I'm just telling, it's not up for discussion. Like, and so it's like that, I think I guess I feel like I have more resolve. That's what I feel like that a boundary gives you. That's so interesting. Yes, okay. So Nona Prather, if people want to, they're like, she's super cool. I want to get to know her. I want her book. I want to know like how I can work. You said you had a cool free opt-in for people. So tell me, how can people connect with you?
Yeah, for sure.
How can they work with you?
Yeah, I would love to meet with anyone for a coffee chat, just a quick get to know you.
Remember, she said she'll talk with anyone.
I will. I love people. I love hearing people's stories, seeing how they work in their business and what their struggles are. So yeah, I really love that. I'm a psychology major, so maybe that's why. I love in marketing. My second major is marketing. So, but anyways, just email me, Nona@speakerelevation.com. And I would love to like send you my calendar link, and we can set up just like a quick coffee talk to get to know each other and see if there's synergy there. So,
right. That sounds amazing. I might have to, I'm going to set up a time to talk to you because I think you would be super cool to, I love your energy. And I feel like I can tell that you are a conscientious person.
Yeah.
Like you do what you say you're going to do when you said you were going to do it. So I just feel like people would be in very good hands with you.
Yeah. Loyalty. And I got taught at a young age, if you promise something or if you say something, you better do it.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
It's important to me as well. So loyalty and doing what you say you're going to do is very important to friendships with me as well. So I reciprocate.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much for saying yes to Curveball. I just absolutely love chatting with you today.
Me too. This was super fun. Thank you.
Take care.